1.8, the coordinate plane. 1.8 is a very important introduction to algebra. In this lesson, we'll learn how to identify and plot points in a coordinate plane. First of all, what is a coordinate plane? A coordinate plane is formed by the intersection of a horizontal number line called the x-axis and a vertical line called the y-axis. And they meet at what we call the origin, the point at which the x-axis and the y-axis meet. So the x-axis and the y-axis cuts the coordinate plane into 4 regions, which we call quadrants. So quadrant 1 will be located to the top right hand corner, and followed by quadrant 2 to the top left hand corner. So we're moving counterclockwise. And then quadrant 3 in the bottom left hand corner, and lastly quadrant 4 in the bottom right hand corner. Every point in the coordinate plane we call that an ordered pair. So point P here will be considered an ordered pair xy, where x is -3 and y is -2. So this first point here, -3, we call that the x-coordinate. And the second point here, we call that the y-coordinate. So again, x-coordinate is the first number of the ordered pair xy. Y-coordinate is the second number of the ordered pair xy. Now we can do some practice. Part A, give the coordinates of the point. So point B, how do we read this? We will go to x-axis, so that would be 0. Count 3 units up, 3. And D, so we have to move 4 units to the right, so their x-coordinate will be 4, and since it's on the x-axis, the y-coordinate will be 0. And for F, we will begin at 3, and the y-coordinate will be -3. And point H, we will begin looking at the point on the x-axis, which is -3, and then look at the y-coordinate, -2. Part B, plot the points in a coordinate plane. Describe the location of the point. When you're being asked to describe the location of the point, you have to either write quadrant 1, 2, 3, or 4. So I'm going to use black here and plot these 3 points. 5, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then move 5 units up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So point P will be here. Q, -1, 0. So our x-coordinate is here, and it does not travel up or down. We have Q -1, 0. And R will be 8, -4. So if we extend the x-axis and make this 8, -4 is down here. So this will be your point R. Okay, so P55 is obviously in quadrant 1. Q -1, 0 will lie on the x-axis. So if you have a point that is located on either the x-axis or the y-axis, you just write x-axis or y-axis. You don't have to write quadrant 1, 2, 3, or 4. And for point R8, -4, that will be located in quadrant 4. So I can simply write Q in Roman numeral number 4. And say, if I ask you to name the location of point C00, you would write origin. So this one and this one are two important ones to look at. Okay, let's take a look at some word problems. Critical thinking. How can you tell by looking at the coordinates of a point whether the point is on the x-axis or on the y-axis? So if you have a number x, any number x, followed by a y-coordinate of 0, then this would definitely be located on the x-axis. And vice versa, 0, y. Y-axis, always, okay? Okay, driving. The table shows the average distance in thousands of miles traveled per passenger car in the United States from 1980 to 2005. Part A, make a scatter plot of the data. What is a scatter plot? A scatter plot is just simply a plot of all the points listed. So now I'm going to set up my intervals. 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And then for the y-axis, or before I move on to the y-axis, the x-axis will represent my years. And the y-axis will represent distance. And then I'm going to make a cutoff here at 8 to make it easier. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, and I'm going to start plotting my points. 0, 8.8. 5, 9.4. 10, 10.5. 15, 11.2. 20, 12. 25, 12.4. Part B. Does the scatter plot suggest any relationship between the year and the average distance traveled? Why, yes, because the points rise from left to right. This suggests that as the numbers number of years since 1980 increased, the average passenger per distance increased. Okay, let's move on to the next problem. Geometry. Use a coordinate plane. A. Plot the points. Connect the points in order and connect the last point to the first. Okay. So we have -3, -2. -3, 6. Five, 6. And 5, -2. I'm going to connect these dots. Identify the figure. Obviously, it's a square with 4 equal sides. If you count the individual squares, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 by 8. Okay, and that concludes our lesson.